Hello everybody! Today I'm playing a control deck. So, it's kind of ironic that I spent a lot of my time playing BG talking about how much I didn't like Ritual of Soot, and then I'm playing a deck with 3 copies of it in the main deck. Now, admittedly, this is a much better Ritual of Soot deck than BG is. I don't have any creatures with a CMC of less than 4, so I'm not ever going to be blowing up my own creatures. And I also have better answers for big things, both Thought Erasure and some counters to stop them from ever hitting the battlefield, as well as the full 4 Vraska's Contempt, and, in case of total emergency, Dream Eater to bounce it. This deck is a little light on win conditions, just the 4 Bolas and Dream Eater as ways to really deal damage and close out the game. But it's so good at accruing card advantage and stopping the other person from killing you that I haven't really had any problem with that. I got this list online, I believe it 5-0'd on MTGO, I'm not exactly sure, I don't completely remember. The only change I made was that it had 3 Notion Rain in the main, and they were just consistently kind of bad for me. I didn't have time to be tapping out on turn 3, the life loss kept getting me killed against aggro decks, and against control decks it wasn't early enough to try to sneak it past counters, so I'd tap out on turn whatever, play my card draw spell, and they'd just counter it and do something else. So I replaced those with Treasure Map. I've been very impressed. This deck can use the mana effectively, even after you've run out of treasures to sacrifice. This is still a land on the other side, and just being able to draw 3 cards while also card select is really good. It doesn't immediately have the card advantage aspect of Notion Rain, but it gets there eventually, and you will have mana to spare when you're holding up counter spells and the like. Moving on to the sideboard, it's pretty standard control fare. You have things like Duress and Disdainful Stroke, which are narrow but powerful answers, and you swap them in as needed. The only slightly weird thing is that I'm playing 3 Thief of Sanity. I actually picked this deck because I was looking for any way to play this card, because it's so much fun. And what I ended up realizing is that its best shell, at least that I've found so far, is in the sideboard of control decks. You bring this in after game 1, and even if your opponent knows about it, it forces them to hedge their deck in weird ways. They don't want to leave in Shock against a blue-black control deck, but if they don't have Shock in, if this connects even once, you're very far ahead, and if it connects twice or more, the game is usually just over. So I think that's all I have to say for this one before we get into some games. Alright, getting into the first match against Art of Phoenix. I've actually really liked this deck so far. Sometimes you get the control deck problem, you just don't have the right answers and you get run over, but overall it's felt very powerful and like it has game against basically anything. Its hand is excellent, we have our mana, and we've got good answers to all sorts of things. Definitely going to keep this. Being on the draw is always a little awkward, we don't really have any interaction on 1, and so this means we're not really stopping our opponent from doing anything until like their turn 3, but I think that's mostly fine. Against black-green, this is probably the most popular deck at the moment that I'm recording this. A lot of people think it's the best, but it is beatable. Okay, not normal black-green, maybe Saprolings? So, the debate for this turn was whether to hold up Essence Scatter or to cast Thought Erasure. I think that the answer becomes cast Thought Erasure for a couple reasons. One, our opponent is showing that they're playing non-creature threats, and so Essence Scatter isn't guaranteed to hit something. And also, because we have 2 Thought Erasures, we need to start playing these early, otherwise the opponent might run out of cards in our hand and our thing will just be blank. Okay, well, either way, I'm glad to get rid of this Midnight Reaper. That card is nasty. We don't need a second Vraska's Contempt, we got plenty of good stuff for that. See what opponent does here. They draw something to play. They did. That is relatively good for them. So here, we are just going to play this Watery Grave tapped and pass. This holds up Essence Scatter. Thought Erasure is not a priority because these aren't doing anything. They're just like not even really cards. But if opponent plays something like a Midnight Reaper, we definitely want to be able to Essence Scatter it. Let's go ahead and deny them their land. Might have been better to hold that just because we are going to Ritual of Soot here anyway. and so it would have killed the thing, but I think keeping them down to 3 lands is valuable. If they're playing Elvish Rejuvenator, they definitely have bigger stuff to do up their curve. Okay, so the question is, what do we do here? If we Bolas, they could potentially double Moment of Craving it if they hit a land, but that gets rid of their whole hand, and if we take a turn off to Thought Erasure, we're just, like, not really getting anywhere. I think I'm going to play the dragon. If they spend 3 cards between the discard and these 2 moments to get rid of our dragon, then we're only 1 land away from playing a Dream Eater, so I think we'll be fine. Okay. Still effectively a 2-for-1, that is acceptable. Not playing anything. I think now, though, because I only have the 1 threat, I am going to Thought Erasure. I'm holding up Vraska's Contempt, and yeah, I am glad to get this Chupacabra out of there. Getting rid of my own Moment of Craving. I don't think we need that. Really glad that I used earlier the Essence Scatter on the Rejuvenator, because our trading Bolas for a Plague Crafter was much better for us than just attempting to trade it for a Chupacabra if they'd had their 4th land. Dream Eater here. I'm not bouncing anything, but I want to start applying a clock to kill my opponent, and I am certainly glad to surveil 3 lands out of the way while also getting another Eater. I think we're in good shape this game. Opponent would need something really good to come back from this. One slightly awkward thing, I've seen people compare Dream Eater to Torrential Gearhulk, and I don't hate that comparison. It's... okay, that's fine. She doesn't really do anything here. Okay, go ahead. She can draw them a card if they want. Actually, I'm just going to bounce this. But the key difference is that while... do I want these? I think I want the Essence Scatter, but not the Contempt. I've already got enough of that effect. Yeah. Dream Eater gets you a big tempo advantage. It's a flash creature that can win the game, and its effect is very powerful. Surveilling 4 is very significant for card selection, but it's not actually card advantage. Like, I've been kind of running away with this, but I still only have 3 cards in hand, whereas if these had been Gearhulks hitting Glimmer of Genius, I would be way ahead on cards. So, it is not free to downgrade to a bounce spell, but this card's still very good, so I'm not going to complain. Go ahead, let them sack a land. Now they're just like, they don't even have enough lands to really do anything. Even if they have a Chupacabra, I'm not going to be able to counter it. I'll still just Contempt this to get it off the board. I have a spare in case they, I don't know, play a Vivian Reed or something, but... play my land. Maybe I'm not supposed to play that in case they try to make me discard a card, but I think it's just irrelevant at this point. It's very unlikely they can do anything to stop us winning here. Even if they Moment of Craving, they go up to 4 and they still take 5. Damage. Alright, cool. That's kind of exactly what our control deck wants to do. We accumulated a little card advantage by sweeping up most of our opponent's stuff, and then we pulled ahead with a powerful late-game threat. So, the question is how we go about moving forward. Usually in these decks, I end up bringing in Disdainful Stroke, because all their best cards cost 4. I don't know if that's the best thing here. I'm going to cut the Fungal Infection. It's good against, like, Merfolk Branchwalker, but our opponent didn't show that type of card. I think I'm going to bring in Bloodfast. I'm not sure on these two. Our opponent's deck was set up a little differently than I'm used to, so I really don't know what I'm supposed to be doing there. So, I will cut... I think I'm going to trim Moment of Cravings. The spot removal didn't seem amazing. Let's bring in a couple Thief of Sanity. We're currently at 60. Is there anything else that looked particularly bad? The Eldest Reborn is bad against Saprolings, but very good against Planeswalkers and just general grinding for value. I think I'll cut an Essence Scatter. That didn't look as good as usual. Let's bring in a Disdainful Stroke. This is really fast and loose sideboarding, but I don't know exactly what our opponent's doing. It looked like a reasonably different black-green deck than you usually see, so I'm just going to try to hedge and be safe. If we see that they are dedicated saprolings or something like that this game, then we can reevaluate. What goes first? His hand is not as good as the last one. We might get run over, but we've got card advantage and spot removal along with our colors working. That's really all we're going to hope for. It's not a bad draw. Probably just going to hold that up next turn. Oh. Well, I kind of wish that weren't on the table. That's going to be a little hard to keep up with. This turn I'm just going to pass. Getting these down doesn't do anything. It's not like they're search for Azcanta, but holding up Syncopate might. Well, that's unfortunate. I think I just let this happen. It makes me regret not playing one of these, but they can take whatever they want. Our hand is going to function kind of the same way without it. Obviously, we can't even Syncopate for one, so I don't... It's not like I have a huge say in the matter, but... Okay. They gonna try to sneak something in here? No. Weird. I am gonna go ahead and pass here. I want to keep holding up Syncopate for one. Oh, they're just gonna draw a card with Arguel's Bloodfast. Never mind. I was wondering what they were doing with their land, but I can't afford to just sit here and hold up my counter because they can just keep drawing cards. Yep, sure. I'll feel dumb if they, like, sneak in a 4-mana Vraska here, but then we can just untap and kill it, which is, like, not really that different. Depending on how the rest of this game plays out, we might want to bring on our own Duress and bring in some negates and stuff like that. Okay, that's a big, scary guy. Wouldn't have been able to Syncopate that, I guess? Wait, why is this not tapped? How did they pay for this? Am I missing something? Looks like they've got 3 land tapped and they just cast a 4-drop. I didn't make them discard, so... Yeah, I'm a little lost. I'm guessing that's just a visual bug and that forest is tapped, but... Okay, so what do we think our odds are of actually countering anything, or if they're just going to keep hitting us with this Ferox? Also, do they have a non-land card besides the Ferox? I'm gonna gamble a bit here. So, well, that card is basically unbeatable. This card is really gross, and this card's gonna cause us problems. We're gonna get rid of basically unbeatable. Really need to find an edict here, like the, if we can find an Eldest Reborn, we might be in okay shape. Sure. We are going to be able to handle this eventually, but we need more answers. We need to be able to get rid of Vraska, and they're just drawing infinite cards off this. We're in a lot of trouble. Definitely don't need a 7th land. Okay, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the whole universe. Okay, I'm going to let this resolve. If they tap low by activating it again, I'm going to activate our treasure map so we can go ahead and flip it. Okay. That good enough? That might be. That's a plan. So... Oh. I could have done this after the first one, because they can't cast this without deactivating their Nullhide Ferox, so... That's not really an option. I'm gonna go ahead and take 6 here, see if they try to cast anything, and then reevaluate. They probably will not. They're probably fine just activating this a bunch. Okay, they have 6. I think I'm actually just gonna go ahead and Essence Scatter that. Just would rather that didn't happen. Let's see. This is an interesting game, even as we're getting kind of beat up here. I need to decide what exactly I'm doing with the resources that I have. Because I've got a few options. I can just try to bounce the Ferox and keep that off of me, maybe counter it on the way back down. I could bounce the Arguel's Bloodfast and try to beat them up with my Dream Eater. Maybe have just enough disruption that they can't catch up. I don't hate that plan. Like, sure, they're going down to 10 here. See, I don't want to kill this main phase, because then they can just play the Vraska in their second main, and that's really rough for me. I think I would rather force them to keep being really inefficient with their turns. Okay, I really don't want to discard a card, but this is also tapping them low. Well, let's go ahead and do this. Maybe we'll hit a land and something that we're really willing to throw away. That's a little less so. Let's see. Resolve. Still think I actually am going to throw him away. They'll sack their 3/2. Okay, so now here's what we're going to do. We're going to Dream Eater, and I'm going to bounce this Arguel's Bloodfast. Well, probably. You get to Surveil first, so maybe there would be some weird world in which I don't. I'm going to go ahead, bin Bolas, bin Moment of Craving, bin Treasure Map. Pick up Syncopate. Yep, take action, go ahead and bounce it. Now, opponent can't do anything that costs more than 1 mana here. So, I'm going to go ahead and hit them. Get them relatively low. Pass the turn. So here, I'm going to stop drawing cards with the Treasure Trove, because we're going to need all of our mana. Because things are starting to get a little dicey. We'll see how they decide to use their mana. See, I'm going to Vraska's Contempt this card, and now I'm leaving up Syncopate. I can only use one because I've only got 3 mana available, but if they try to, say, play a Vraska here, they are really going to regret it. Their best play is probably just to Assassin's Trophy Dream Eater and then play the Bloodfast again. I'm totally fine with this. This doesn't do anything. But even if they do that, then we have the card advantage from Treasure Cove, and we can start digging ourselves out again. Opponent really doesn't have that much life left to work with. This can't really draw more cards. Like 2, I guess, if they kill my Dream Eater, but then they are really at the mercy of anything else we played. It's possible I wasn't supposed to bin the second Bolas on that, Oh, well, I guess I'm shuffling here anyway, so this is fine. Yeah. Go ahead, get a Swamp, that's fine. Then, like, what are they supposed to do here? We could play a Bloodfast, we could even counter it if we wanted it to. I think this is fine. We're at 4, but we can find some way to deal with this. I think we started out in pretty rough shape, but we are quickly... We're in this game. I think this game is really close. Not if we just flood out and die to this 1/1, though. That would be really sad. To put so much work into catching up and then just draw nothing in their top 6 cards or whatever. Probably letting any little creatures resolve, definitely not letting Vraska resolve. Well, that's a good draw from our opponent. We are basically dead. We'd need, like, removal plus an edict. Oh man, that was really disappointing. I took a really weird line in bouncing the Bloodfast and trying to aggro them out, and I thought we were getting an advantage because I thought they were kind of locked under their own Ferox, but it did not work out. That was... whew. So, what did we learn? They've got a fair amount of removal, but they need it anyway. Like, they just have, like, Assassin's Trophies and stuff. Those are on cards we really need. I think Essence Scatter might be terrible. I'm gonna cut that. I'm going to bring in a Duress, just to stop their really high value things. Leaving in Ritual of Soot because they have a bunch of small creatures, and we need to clear those out in order to have a chance of, like, edicting a big hexproof creature. Although, as I say that, I don't think they showed us anything that Golden Demise wouldn't kill that Ritual of Soot will. So I think this is just more efficient and better. Do we want the third Thief of Sanity, or do we want a Sorcerous Spyglass? Spyglass is interesting, because it shuts down Vraskas, but they haven't shown that much of a reliance on those. I think I'm going to bring in another Thief, and maybe now that we're on the play, try to steal a game with an aggressive creature. Alright, game 3. Last game was kind of close. Little unfortunate. That Carnage Tyrant destroyed us. This hand's awful. Our mana just doesn't work and it's got too many expensive spells. Aw, man. Yeah, I guess. Probably dead here. Really hard to win this type of matchup on a mull to 5, especially when one of your cards is really bad. Although opponent's hand is really bad too. This is gonna brutalize us though, sacking a Dusk Legion Zealot and getting one of our very few cards out of our hand. Like, very difficult to do anything from there. Gonna need to get pretty lucky, like, I don't know, just keep our lands up and then draw like a Bolas and hope they can't kill it. Ugh. Mulling to 5 on the play and keeping a very bad 5 is really unfortunate. But that's how it goes sometimes. They do this? Yeah. Figured they'd do this, that's fine. They'll sack their 1/1, I'm gonna pitch this island. And I am just gonna Moment of Craving this, use our mana efficiently. Maybe we can steal the game with a Bolas if I just get it down on this next turn. Nope. Okay. Maybe they have nothing? Or they drew the card that we took with Duress. Anyone who's ever played Discard knows that Thoughtseize just tutors for whatever card you killed and puts it right on top. I mean, okay. Definitely not going to take Nullhide Ferox. Gotta take Vivian Reed. She's going to come down soon and just bury us. Can't keep Thief of Sanity. They already have a Vraska on the table, which is really unfortunate. If they hadn't drawn this Vraska, if they were just playing these creatures, Thief could really steal this game. We're probably just going to die to this card. Yep. Sure. Opponent's really aggressively sacrificing their lands. I don't know if they should be doing that. They want to keep their mana up to cast a whole bunch of spells. Yeah, we're super dead. Okay, that was a really disappointing way for that match to end. We won game 1 handily, and we're really close in game 2, but oh well. I don't think I've ever won a first match when I'm recording, at least not recently. So, yeah, we'll hope to be back better for the next one. Alright, getting into another game. Thinking more about that last match. I'm wondering if I didn't adjust my sideboarding enough for the third one. This hand looks pretty good. Like, the first round, one of the only cards we saw was the Saproling migration, and so maybe I was just playing around that a little too hard? Sure. Maybe I was a little worried about them playing just a bunch of 1/1s and me needing to use Ritual of Soot again, but in game 2 and 3, they didn't end up showing, like, much of anything like that. Okay. I mean, I want to get that off the battlefield eventually. Both of my creatures rely on ETB effects. But for now, let's just go ahead and Thought Erasure. If they've got... Huh. Well, that's a little annoying. We are going to need to find a sweeper relatively soon, but... We have 3 Ritual of Soot, and finding one of those... Even if we find... Aw, man! Sometimes they don't draw the card you bottomed, sometimes they draw one that is much better. Oh, that is really irritating. I'm going to go ahead and play a Dragonskull Summit here. I can Fungal Infection this and block it to trade for one of the knights, and then still be holding up Syncopate for 1 to snag anything. We still really need a sweeper. Ugh, that's so irritating. Yeah, I am going to go ahead and do this. We just need to keep our life total high. If we draw a sweeper, I think we're very likely to win the game anyway, so the key is to not die before then. Excuse me. Sure, can't do anything about that. Okay, they didn't cast anything into our relatively obvious counter. We have not drawn a non-land card yet. After binning that Sulfur Falls. Oh boy. See what's coming down next. They don't play land, we can counter another history, but we need something ASAP. We cannot counter that, so sure. Well, we are not technically dead on board, but yeah. This is another thing that happens when you play control decks. We have like 26 lands, so sometimes we're going to draw all of them. Yep, and we're dead. Okay. Opponent playing well there at the end, not committing anything else. The only way we win that is if we sweep them with Ritual of Soot, and they didn't play into that. So, we're going to bring in some Golden Demises. Now we have 5 sweepers, hopefully that's good enough. The Eldest Reborn seems pretty meh. They just have so many creatures. Fungal Infection didn't look like it will actually trade with anything. Do we want anything else? We're going up to so many sweepers that I don't think this is a Thief of Sanity matchup. We're not really grinding. And opponent didn't show any cards with a CMC of 4 or greater. If they board into like a bunch of planeswalkers, like they start playing Vivian Reed or something like that, we'll want to revisit this. But for now, I think our arrangement is very good. We just need to draw some non-lands. Okay. Removal spell, hand disruption, win con. Great, keeping it. Sure. Let's go ahead and play these out first, so our lands enter untapped. 5th land isn't bad. We don't want too many more than that, though. Okay. Probably going to take that, because it seems kind of unbeatable. Opponent boarded into the exact opposite of what we saw last game. Maybe this was there all along, but yeah. We are not prepared for any of this. So, we're probably going to lose this game. Gonna take the card we can't beat. Get rid of the land. Maybe they'll stall on lands for a while and we can run away with it, but can't really count on that. Okay, that's... Wow, that was an excellent draw. Sweet. Unfortunately, we kind of have to syncopate every card in their hand. Yeah, okay. Maybe Dream Eater can find us some ways to deal with things. Wow, we're getting very lucky here, which, I don't know, maybe that's just payback for the last game, because we got very unlucky to lose that one. Maybe not even to lose, but to be that far out of it, we got very unlucky. Okay, opponent just packs it in. Yeah, we stole that one. So, opponent is actually playing a bunch of giant creatures. Thief of Sanity is still very bad, because it doesn't attack into them. Golden Demise, much worse than we thought. Here, Eldest Reborn is good again, and Disdainful Strokes are excellent. So, let us see. Maybe trim a couple Moments of Craving. They didn't seem that good. Leaving in a couple so we don't just die to night tokens or stuff. Like that. I think this is probably okay. Maybe we're supposed to bring in Sorcerous Spyglass for a Johnny, but I don't think so. I think we've got a lot of answers for that. I think this is probably about where we want to be. Maybe we're just going to get run over by 2-drop Knights again, but I'd rather have the Disdainful Strokes in our deck to deal with Lyra and a Johnny and things like that. This hand looks pretty good. couple counters, something to kill an Ajani that sneaks through, way to not die early. It's maybe I'm supposed to have boarded all of these out, since the only thing we saw that really dies to it was Knight tokens from History of Benalia, both Tocatli Honor Guard and the other thing, Knight of Glory. They don't die to this. That doesn't die to Moment of Craving either. Oops. That's fine, though. We can take a lot of hits from this and be fine. Now that we have multiple counters, again, drawing more lands than we really want immediately, but that's fine. We could Essence Scatter that. Do I want to? I think I do. I don't really have any way to answer it. At least not easily. We would need to find a Ritual of Soot. Okay, that's a good card. And leave up Syncopate for whatever they try to throw at me this turn, and then Bolas both gets a card out of their hand and blanks their Thorn Lieutenant until they get up to 1,000,000 lands. Okay, let's go ahead and make that not happen. Maybe it was even a bit hasty on that Syncopate. It's possible that we could have fought through it with our bigger creature and just, like, Moment of Craving and stuff like that. But I think I just wanted to use my mana, keep the board relatively clear. That is fine. Let's go ahead and play this Watery Grave tapped. And I will just pass the turn. We are probably going to end up using Vraska's Contempt on Shalai. That is okay. Nope, we're going to use Vraska's Contempt on that. Oh boy.
Wild animals I love. People, not so much.
Well, I kind of wish I'd had Syncopate around. Yeah, whatever. I'll just... Oh, no, I can't. Oh, crap. Yeah, we're going to have to let that resolve. Question is, do I have Vraska's Contempt Shalai right now? I think I have to, so I can hope to top deck something good to get this off the table. Damn, their 4 and 5 drops are very punishing against what we had. And, as usual, we've flooded out a little. Or a lot. I think we're dead.
No one knows the wilds like
Sure, dig for something good. Or something unbeatable, sure. You know, whichever. Yep, okay, let's... I don't think there's any draws that get us out of here, but we should at least look, and it is certainly not that. Holy crap. That was... Jeez. We just really flooded out there. Alright, I think this matchup should be fantastic, but sometimes you lose good matchups. Okay, gonna try to redeem the deck at least a little bit. I promised that I was winning a lot off camera. That last match, the only decision we really made that we could have done differently, I think this hand's okay. We need to draw lands, but Treasure Map can help. We've got good cards. The only decision we really made was using the Syncopate on the History of Benalia, and I think it's still right to do so. If they have, like, a Conclave Tribunal for our Bolas there, we just die to all those Knight tokens, and that would really suck. Huh. I wonder if this is the 5-color Lich's Mastery deck. If it is, our hand is truly awful. And that would be unfortunate. But, maybe not. But yeah, I still think we were supposed to Syncopate there. It's just really unfortunate. Oh, I played the wrong land here. I thought this was a Catacomb, but whatever. Gonna go ahead and get down Treasure Map. Don't want to risk it getting countered. Yeah, this cracks to draw a card. And if they have Lich's Mastery down, it just draws a card every turn. No, this is different. Okay. Well, we're gonna take a beating. Fortunately, Ritual of Soot will kill both of those, though. That's kind of funny. Just gonna go ahead and pass here. The question will be, do I use Fungal Infection to save some life I can like shrink this down to a 0 and then block, not take any. Okay, well I'm glad our opponent's doing something with creatures instead of Lich's Mastery, because we were not prepared to deal with that. I think I am going to use the Fungal Infection, just keep my life total high. Interesting that they didn't attack with this. Wonder what they were scared of. Huh. I should have used Fungal Infection on this now that this isn't attacking. Because if they had a removal spell, they could kill my Saproling and get in for 5, and it would shrink it down to 4, so we just take a little bit less. Okay. Well, that is a mean card to have down. They're gonna get a few cards off of that, probably. Okay, go ahead, resolve. Your opponent can have a Watery Grave. 3 meter to the bottom. Okay. So, question is, do we get rid of Karn right now? Take a bit more damage and look to Soot next turn? I think we do. I think we want to just cut off their cards. Wait, we have some life to play with. We can afford to take 6. It's kind of funny. I assumed there would be some synergy with the gaining life part of this card, but it looks like they just wanted an artifact that costs 1. That's not what I would have guessed. Okay, we made the most awful decision possible. Yeah, they're just gonna get their Zahid that way. Okay, we are in trouble. We aren't just in trouble, we're in a lot of trouble. So, the question is, what do we do this next turn? Probably going to be casting Ritual to clear these out, and scrying here. Look to hit a land so we can Dream Eater and bounce that in on the next turn. I think that's our best bet. Our life total was just under so much duress that we really had to get something going. Not get something going. We had to shut down their aggression. We can deal with their card advantage later. Okay, tapping 6. They're probably just going to play Zahid. That is acceptable as long as we can find a land. I will let them have another Zahid Djinn of the Lamp, because this guy's legendary. What exactly does this do again? Oh, it gets instants of sorceries out of our deck. Yeah, that's kind of gross. That's hard to beat. Oh my god, and they have Treasure Map too? We're gonna get outdrawn by a deck that was aggressing on us, which is scary and kind of sad. Yep, sure. Land, please. Acceptable. I'm gonna go ahead and end the turn. Dream Eater is really nice here, and the only reason we're really in this game at all. Question is, do I take 5? Do I think they have anything else to do with their mana, or should I just let them replay the Djinn? I don't think so. I think I want to have my life total to work with later. Oh, they are playing blue. I guess they could have a counter here. They've just been tapping out every turn, so I didn't really think about it that much. Let's see. No, no, no. And I think we have to get rid of Essence Scatter too, because they're just probably just going to replay the Zahid this turn. If we had taken 5 and waited, we'd actually be in a much better spot, because we could end step, bounce the Zahid, and then counter it on the way back down. This card is set up to give you as much information as possible before you make a bounce choice, but you still need to choose when to make your when to cast it, I guess. What's probably going to happen here is they're going to uptick Karn. Hopefully we give them something mediocre. They play Zahid. We untap. Vraska's Contempt Karn to shut that down. We'll get to flip our treasure map and then maybe look to double block Zahid soon. Well, this is kind of awful. God, we can't beat, like, either of these. I guess it's give them the Antiquities War. If we give them Phyrexian Scriptures, our best option for dealing with Zahid was double blocking, and they just blow up our board and kill us in one shot, and that is not acceptable. See what they decide to do here. They might not be looking to play a creature, which would be interesting. Nope, just gonna play the Djinn. What else do they have to do, huh? This is definitely a Disdainful Stroke matchup. They've shown a whole lot of very good cards that cost 4. Well, that is super unfortunate. What can we even do here? Even if we Moment of Craving, this still trades with our... I think we're just dead. I think I might just concede rather than show the Bolas. Like, I don't see any realistic way that we get out of this game. Oh boy. Some days, Magic is real hard. So, definitely bringing in Disdainful Stroke, bringing in Negate, Sorcerous Spyglass, and Thief of Sanity. I don't think Spyglass is good enough. Hitting Karn is fine, but even if we could name, like, I don't know, Treasure Map, well, 1, we have our own treasure maps, and 2, they'll just animate their artifacts and beat us down with them. Do I want Thief of Sanity? I think so. Opponent didn't show any removal, and this card could steal the game pretty easily. Fungal Infection looked awful. Moment of Craving looked truly terrible. Still puts us at 63. Maybe trim an Essence Scatter. They didn't have that many creatures. Ritual of Soot. It was kind of nice to get the artifact and the other guy for just the one card, but I don't know if that's exactly where we want to be. We have Thief of Sanity, so we don't need as much card advantage. We can take away one of our slower ones. I think I like this configuration. Do I want Duress? Yeah, I'm going to bring in the Duress and drop another treasure map. I think we still have plenty of card advantage and ways to win the game. We just need to not die the way we did that time. I think we lost because our life total was under so much pressure for most of the game. I think this hand looks fine. Card advantage and a counterspell, and our mana works. Let's see, their first important card came down turn 3 last time, so we're pretty safe to tap out for search on turn 2. Okay. Dream Eater is always a welcome sight. This card is really good. When I initially looked at the list, I was like, don't they want more win conditions? That's not very many, but Dream Eater does so much work. This deck is very much blue-black, splash-red, basically just for Bolas. I do wonder if there might be a blue-red, splash-black deck out there. Graveyard, don't need that. Draw land anyway, because of course. But yeah, a blue-red splash-black deck, because Niv Mizzet at the top end is an excellent card, and so I certainly wouldn't mind that. Wow, they are really beating us up on this front. They snuck the treasure map down, which is fair enough, we chose to tap out. But then they have the Field of Ruin, so even if we flip our search, they just have the answer already. It's like, ugh. Do we care about this? Not really. We'll deal with it eventually. We need to save our only counterspell. We're really light on action here. If this is what they're doing, maybe we should have left Moment of Craving in. Sure. Leave that on top. Still have the option to Syncopate a Karn or a Zahid here. And if we have 2 card advantage double-faced cards, they can't Field of Ruin both of them. Yep, go ahead. It'll take a while to grind through this card advantage, but we do have a bunch of good stuff, so. If we can avoid getting kind of cheesed like we did last time, we should be fine. Okay, I don't have another answer for this, so I really just need to syncopate it. Really glad they didn't play a land first. Turn. I'm gonna bin that. I don't know that we want two of these. And of course we draw land immediately and look like a fool. Representing a counterspell or some amount of removal here. I really just wanted more interaction, but maybe I'm supposed to keep that and just do this twice in a row. Okay, that card is really, really good. Hopefully we can keep them from getting too many more artifacts on the table. Like, we would prefer if that one didn't happen. Because if they can attack us with a bunch of 5/5s, we will die. Huh. Yeah, I'm in for that. Let's go ahead and keep that on top. We could be casting Dream Eater this turn. Maybe that's what we're supposed to do. I do kind of just want to get this going and start stealing their cards. Also lets us keep activating Treasure Map, whereas if we cast this, we get Surveil 4, but we don't get to activate. See, they get their other card, and we can still main phase Dream Eater to stop this from going off if they get too many creatures down. Too many artifacts that will turn into creatures. Sure, this card doesn't actually do anything, so... Ah, do they have removal? They are hovering my Thief of Sanity. They didn't show any last game, so... What is my opponent doing? Okay. We're gonna get beat up here. Huh, now we don't need to bounce this because this will already be a 5/5. Like, just the last part of this doesn't really do much. I guess they'll have a fountain. Yeah. Okay. So... do we block? I don't think so. Definitely don't want to swamp. Alright, we are now in damage control mode. Drawing all the lands in the entire universe. So let's see. If we play this, bounce like the treasure map. Block a 2/2, take 6, go to 3. Yeah, I'd say that's acceptable. Let's go ahead and get our hit in. Start getting cards off of this. I mean, I guess. It's something to do eventually, but... whew, that wasn't very pretty. Sure, gain a life, that's fine. Unfortunately, cannot bounce the Skilled Animator because this has 2 effects, making it a 5/5 right now. And so Antiquities War would still leave it a 5/5, even if we got rid of this thing. Huh. What we could do, though, is Dream Eater bounce the Fountain, block the Skilled Animator, and it'll turn the treasure map back. And then we've got the board mostly under control. Take 1 extra damage, but that's fine. 2 and 3 are not really that different here. Let's find something to do, shall we? These are things to do. Are they good things to do? Definitely don't need 2 Bolas. Are these good enough? I don't think Thought Erasure is. I think I want it like this. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and bounce the Fountain. Opponent a little pinched on lands here. Their deck has a lot of expensive cards, like I said when we were thinking about sideboarding. Go ahead and do this. Take 7. Next turn we can play Psy to potentially block something, and then also be holding up Disdainful Stroke and really start taking over the game. Okay, this guy's annoying, but we have a bunch of flyers, so we're not going to die to Thopters that fast. Sure. For our turn, go ahead and flip this treasure map. We wanted that Disdainful Stroke on top. Yeah, okay. Let's keep this. Make sure they don't play anything too scary. The fact that Stroke doesn't hit Chaos Wand's a little sad, but... I figured they were just going to block here. They just don't want us getting another free card. That also means that they don't have 3 attackers. That was a mild concern, I guess, is that they were... Okay, this is actually cool. I can sack a treasure, draw Bolas, cast Bolas, and now in case of emergency I can still Disdainful Stroke something, but I have my 4/4 down. Yeah, okay. So, things looked hectic for a second. Opponent's going to draw a lot of cards, but we have a bunch of powerful cards. 3 flyers, so we can block any number of Thopters. And this will draw us cards if it ever gets in. We have a counterspell in case of emergency, and we've got powerful stuff going as far as card draw. So, opponent would need something really good here to stop us. Karn or Zahid are not going to do it. Hell, we can even flip Bolas next turn. We have enough mana. Turn him into a big, meaty planeswalker. Yeah, opponent packs it in. Okay. So, they showed a little more aggressive elements that game. Like the Gearsmith Prodigy. It was still the only target for Moment of Craving, though. Especially with Psy, I think we definitely want the 3rd Ritual of Soot. What do we not want? Maybe the Duress? They had a lot of creatures. They had a lot of non-creatures too, though. Maybe the Eldest Reborn? If they have Psy, they aren't going to have that much trouble flooding the board in little things that Edicts are bad against. Okay, I think I like this. That game was also somewhat dicey, but we did eventually draw what we needed to get there. Opening hand, this looks pretty good. Thought Erasure should shut down anything too scary. And we have a win con and a basically unconditional answer. Of course, what that means is we're going to Thought Erasure on 2 and 3, and then on turn 4, opponent is going to top deck the Antiquities War and play it and kill us very easily. Okay. Now we know we want to start looking for a Ritual of Soot. They're going to need to play other cards to make this any good, so the odds that they can play around it seem pretty low. Oh, no artifact. Alright. Nothing. Okay, then. Well, I'm perfectly happy to be doing this, then. Looks like opponent mulled to 6. That makes discard much better. Huh. This is kind of good against what we're doing, but, like, not really. Definitely glad to get this Chaos Wand out of there. We do want Dragonskull Summit, because we need red for Bolas next... or, not next turn, on turn 4. Opponent's gonna need some good draws here, or they're in a lot of trouble. Because we're gonna Thought Erasure the Tez, and Bolas just trumps whatever they're doing. Yeah, okay. So, go ahead, Thought Erasure. Let's see what their new card is. Would we rather let them Karn or let them Tezzeret? There are a couple lands off Tezzeret, so I think we leave that one. Tezzeret is the better creature. Or not creature, planeswalker. But either way, they're just going to get 1 card off of it before we Contempt. Tezzeret will get a better card. Draw card is better than Karn's uptick. But they would have been able to cast Karn this turn. They will not be able to cast Tezzeret. So, okay. Things are mostly looking good. We bend a land and then very skillfully drew the 6th land to cast Dream Eater on time anyway. Bolas is probably going to hit the Moment of Craving, but that means we just completely trump them, and opponents had enough. Okay, that game worked out exactly how we wanted it to. So overall, we went 1 and 2, not incredible, but I think we were pretty unlucky in various points, but I also don't think I played incredibly, and that's a real concern when playing control decks. The decks are hard. Like, I made a lot of decisions that ended up biting us in this series. So maybe I'm not playing well enough, maybe I just need more reps with the deck. I've played 10, 12 matches with it maybe. But either way, I think it was doing powerful things, and it is very fun, so I wouldn't be surprised if I end up playing this again. So, if you liked this video and you want to see more stuff like it, I would love it if you could subscribe to the channel. It helps other people see the content, and also makes sure that you get notified when I post more stuff. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks guys, and bye.